Well, hello friends, Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, man, this doesn't work. Aloha, how you doing, Young Wilson, Derek Young, Lopez, what's going on, guys? Guys, thank you all earlier. I ended up doing an early live stream. Shane, how you doing? To kind of check out the system and see exactly where we were with the equipment and stuff. I'm trying to learn how to really use this stuff and get this stuff going and try to bring you guys a little bit better coverage. But I want to go ahead and start the show tonight where we're going to actually look back for a minute at one of the probably most iconic plays. Young Wilson, thank you very much, man, for the super chat. I appreciate all the love and support that you guys give me. But this play kind of sums up Tony Romo's career and things, because this was just kind of amazing when you watch this clip. And let's go to the videotape here.
Today they ride in the same limo. Different salary structure. Romo, spin, throw, end zone, caught! Terrance Williams, touchdown Cowboys! Tony Romo, digging into the bag of tricks, 43 yards. And part of the bag of tricks was just pulling away from the most dominant defensive player in the first quarter of the season. Watch J.J. Watt. He's got a clear shot on Romo. Yeah, I wonder about that left arm, though. He didn't have the strength to wrap up Romo. And how about Romo sticking with the play? Williams hangs with the ball. The defensive back falls down. Kendrick Lewis. And Williams makes up for earlier drops with a huge...
Yeah. That was a pretty amazing play without a shadow of a doubt. And that was Tony Romo. Tony Romo had a way of being like Houdini. Now you see him, now you don't, and get away and being able to keep his eyes downfield and launch the ball. And Terrence Williams, that was one of those relationships that clicked. Terrence Williams had his best years with Tony Romo. In fact, when Tony Romo, we thought he might be going to the Texans or that he might be going to Denver, I thought for sure that we were going to see Terrence Williams go where he went. But Tony Romo didn't go anywhere but CBS. And Terrence Williams, well, that was the end of his great years. I mean, he ended up having 845 yards that year. Tony Romo, of course, Pro Bowler, and statistically his best years numbers-wise as far as touchdowns and having the opportunity to win a Super Bowl. But those days are gone. And another piece from the 2014 team is now gone because the Dallas Cowboys will not be picking up the option for Terrance Williams. It's not, I don't think, a big surprise. The Dallas Cowboys really like Terrance Williams and things, and I believe they looked at the situation of last year was, he's like family. We can cut him, knowing he's got the suspension, knowing that he's rehabbing, knowing that we're not going to save any money. Let's do the right thing. We'll just keep him on the roster. Let him, he's going to get paid one way or the other. It's going to cost us the same either way. Let's just let him finish out this year. But here's the good news, at least. By letting him go, that's another $2.25 million on the cap, which gets us closer to $49 million of cap space. Damn, no more T-Will. Well, the thing I wonder, because now you're looking at the Cowboys, they're going to be making quite a few moves between now and the beginning of the league year, trying to get their money in order, knowing that they are working right now to get DeMarcus Lawrence deal done. They basically came out today and said, look, we're going to do whatever it takes to get this thing done between now and March 5th. Okay? Understand that tomorrow teams can start designating who's going to be franchise tag, and I believe Landon Collins will be the first one we're already hearing that Giants are going to franchise tag him. Understand that just putting the tag on doesn't mean you're locked in to that number, at least not until July 15th. But the Cowboys are trying to do the right thing, get him done and out of the way. So you may see them go ahead and do some more of this bloodletting over the next few days or this week. I believe Alan Hearns, when we look at Alan Hearns' number over here, basically they can have 1.2 million in dead money, but they can save $5 million. Okay, I'm gonna watch out for the snowstorm, Victor. I appreciate that, man. Victor, I've been through snowstorms before, man. Okay, not to be telling stories and things, but I had my wisdom tooth was supposed to go out when we had a blizzard when I was actually in high school. Woke up that morning, we had snow over the window, so all you saw was white looking out of it. Had to wait 5 days with an impacted wisdom tooth and actually walked through the blizzard to the dentist's office because it was infected to get it taken out. And our regional track meet was that day. I threw shot put indoors right after having a root canal. Excuse me, not a root canal. Have a wisdom tooth pulled out. It's like, I got the snow, man. Don't worry about it. Corey, let's hope we sign D-Law and hope we get some more O-line. You know what? I'm going to give you my take on this, okay? Understand we got $190 million that we got to spread out and try and cover all of our bases, okay? And no matter how you try and divide that money up, you're going to have some holes. But you have to, I got shorts on, okay? Listen, I got shorts on, all right? Boy, see, look, y'all don't miss a thing. Shorts. It's warm down here in the basement, okay? Man, I'm not down here butt naked here, just swinging up under the table and stuff, man. It was actually about 60 today. Well, in the 50s today. It's actually been it's been crazy. It's been like 7 degrees one day and then 30 degrees the next. So, it's been crazy. So today it was a little bit warmer, kind of got cooler this afternoon, and then Wednesday's supposed to snow. It's weather in D.C., okay? All right? But here's what I'm going to tell you guys right now. Now, can you sit your ass down and let me talk for a minute, okay? All right. So, Terrence Williams, gone. David Irving, Miss Jackie, and like Miss Jackie said, make sure you end up being cool, okay? Because Miss Jackie will put a foot in your behind. Boomer Sooner, how you doing? Raymond, how's it going? Eric, HW, McCowboys for Life, Eric Hogan, Adrian Garcia, everybody, thank you for being here. David Irving. David Irving, yeah. David Irving, who got injured after not being able to find enough time because he was dealing with baby mama drama and his daughter and everything else, and I'm not making light of that. Couldn't find time to work with the Dallas Cowboys in the offseason and OTAs. In Dallas. Couldn't find time for minicamp. When he did show up, he was out of shape, couldn't do training camp. Cowboys said, hey man, take care of your business. Okay? Take care of your business. They made all kinds of moves to try to help him. Got hurt, couldn't find the time to rehab. So now he's a free agent, and then we see this today on his Instagram. And one thing I got to tell you about the Cowboys and social media, they ain't crazy about you going on social media and putting things out there. We know Rico was in the doghouse because he was putting his rap music and everything on there. We know Cole Beasley was kind of out there because of his rap music and things. And David Irving, well, you know, he put out there all kinds of stuff, and the Cowboys weren't too happy about that either. And so here it is, you've basically gone through, and I don't have time to take care of the people that just paid me several $1 million to work my job, but I got enough time to go to New York for a TV show. So the Dallas Cowboys, he's a free agent, said bye-bye. Thanks. Hope you enjoy the cash, because you definitely didn't earn it this year. And it's sad because I said this earlier today. I look at the talent that he has. He could be DeMarcus Lawrence. You can't coach that size and the God-given ability to have been suspended for 4 games twice, and to be able to come in and get 7 sacks in 8 games. Is unbelievable talent. And if he actually focused in and had his mind right towards football, boom. And this is like Rolando McClain. You'll remember a linebacker a few years ago. That guy was a thumper, okay? And by a thumper, I mean that's a guy, a linebacker that could literally take on the block and knock the snot out of people. God-given ability. Didn't like to practice. Played when he wanted to play. That's not the way it works. So I wish him well. I hope, the acting career works out and everything else for him. But, it's sad to me that they spent as much time as they did on trying to help him, trying to get him out there and everything else. Cowboys might sign Jalen Ramsey. I hadn't heard that rumor. Well, here's the thing, and I put this out there earlier today, and it's funny because the exact same thing I said, be careful of, I had people going through and going apeshit. Cowboys Wire did a story a couple days ago, okay? They said the Dallas Cowboys could end up paying Dak Prescott a $200 million contract. It's all hypothetical. And I said, listen, go look at that article if you want to, and you can see how you can get there. Because basically they were saying if the Cowboys ended up making him play on next year's deal, okay, it's rookie contract, and then they franchise tag him twice and then have to pay him, it would end up being a $200 million deal. It's not going to happen, okay? It's not. He's not going to get to it. He's not worth $200 million. There's no quarterback out there worth $200 million. And I'm a Dak Prescott fan. I'm sorry. No quarterback's worth $200 million, okay? So somebody had put in, woo, thank you, Stella 300 Cowboys fan, for the super chat. I appreciate that. So I put in where somebody had put out there that Dak Prescott demands $200 million contract. And I said, listen, it ain't true. I said, be careful. This is silly season. You're going to hear all kinds of stuff. Somebody sent me a link that said that Earl Thomas is going to sign in Green Bay. Personally, I don't think he wants to be up in the cold. But, that's just my personal opinion. But basically they're saying Green Bay needs a free safety. They've got some money. He could sign there. So right now, you're going to get a lot of this fake news, if you want to call it, fake sports, or whatever you want to call it, or stretching the truth, rumors, Indiana, it's all going to be out there, okay? But Dak Prescott did not ask for $200. He did not demand it. But that story has been blown up over and over again that, he's, dissing Tom Brady and his, come on, man. Come on, man. You're talking about my quarterback. So let that kind of go. And I had, Brady, that's my shirt. That's my boy. Hopefully I can figure a way. I got the worst timing in the world. It seems like every time the wife plans a vacation, it's at the wrong time. Last year's vacation was planned on opening season, so we were down in North Carolina with a hurricane bearing down on us, and had to do my live stream for that game from a beach condo. We got a bunch of friends that were supposed to have a couple's vacation in March for the weekend, and it's the same weekend that there's an autograph signing in Chantilly that Dak will be there. And I actually wanted to get Dak one of these shirts and get him autographed, and get another one autographed to go ahead and do a giveaway. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to sneak away from that, but we'll work on that one. So you're going to get a lot of crazy stories and stuff like that where, somebody just said Jalen Ramsey to the Cowboys. I don't see Jalen Ramsey to the Cowboys too much money. I don't see that one. I could be wrong. But that truly would go against Stephen Jones's philosophy of basically bottom basement shopping and being frugal. But then again, we haven't made the Super Bowl, so maybe they're going to make some changes. I think Earl Thomas still makes a better fit because I think Earl Thomas wants to be here. I think Earl Thomas will give you a decent pay, and I think that fills a bigger need because I think safety is where we look at and we are still razor thin on, and we do not have a playmaker. Joe Boo's right here. He's on a different camera here. So I've got multiple cameras that we have in here. So anyway, my quarterback, who has been accused of asking for $200 million, which he didn't. What's interesting is he was at a restaurant and he dropped on a $49 bill, a $1,000 tip. That would definitely make my day. Ian Rappaport, he's off a lot. Oh, man. You know, Jackie, I've got the perfect picture that I can't wait till he screws up really big time again from NFL Honors, where he's standing behind me looking for a seat, and I'm kind of going like, I'm literally like this, like, yeah. And that's when the usher said, oh, your seat's way back here. What's with all the rumors I keep hearing about OGB, James traded and Ramsey going to the Cowboys? Well, listen, Colin, I wouldn't be surprised to see Odell traded because they want to get rid of that salary. The Giants are actually at the point where they need to rebuild that team. That roster is just old. Eli Manning is done. And that's where our Cowboys were kind of lucky with Tony Romo all of a sudden getting hurt at the same time. Let me rephrase that before I get killed. With Tony Romo getting hurt and with us doing the drafting that we did, right now we've got a young team. And ideally, that's what you want to do is get a young team and have those guys grow together to become better and better. Because ultimately, it takes time to learn a system, to learn how to play with guys and everything else. And that's where we're good. Well, Eric, if you want to, I've got Teespring, Joe Boo Sports Store. You can order some of the shirts and stuff. I'm going to actually order some more of them and do giveaways with them as well. So maybe we'll end up winning in one of the contests. So that's where they are with the Giants. The Giants have been trying to hang on year after year after year, and they've just gotten really, really old. They've gotten beat up, and I don't believe in their coaching staff. So really what they need to do is jettison ODJ. Too expensive, a distraction, get the money, get the cap room and stuff, get rid of Eli Manning, start looking for your quarterback of the future. Just gut the team and get everything you can right now to start building, which is kind of what the Raiders did. We'll see if it works out for John Gruden and stuff. And again, that's where, Dante, Dak didn't ask for $200 million, but people have been losing their mind. He's not worth. Yeah, we all know nobody quarterback is worth $200 million, and that's what I said. Be careful on what you read and what you believe. This is going to be silly season, and you're going to see a lot of players that are going to be on the market, and everybody's going to say, which they always do, anytime somebody's released, well, we should go get that guy. Do I think we're going to keep Sean Lee? Sean Lee, I think, is going to either have to take a big-ass pay cut or I think he's going to be a cap casualty. And the reason I say that as we look at our cap numbers over here is bottom line is the bottom line. So if you're talking about keeping Zeke Elliott and extending him, if you're talking about signing your quarterback, which you need to do, when you talk about trying to keep it DeMarcus Lawrence, you have to determine, am I better off keeping Sean Lee for maybe a year or two more and spending that $10 million cap hit, that $10 million cap hit right here, or am I better off bloodletting and letting him go and using that money elsewhere? Guys might have forgotten a few years back where we had DeMarcus Lawrence, who nobody thought they were going to go ahead and let go. But DeMarcus Lawrence had gotten he was getting injured more and more later in the season, and his production was going down. And they looked at that $16 million cap hit, and they said, you know what? We love you, but we're going to let you go. And they let him go. So you looked at Dez Bryant last year. Dez Bryant. They didn't have anybody to replace Dez Bryant. And they let Dez Bryant go. Because, again, the bottom line is the bottom line. So now you're looking at Sean Lee, who you got a Van Der Esch to replace him with. $7 million is enough to sign your rookie class. And unfortunately, that's the way it's going to look at it. So I don't think Sean Lee is going to be here next year. So, hate to be the one to say that, but I really believe that that's how it's going to go. It's just too much money. It's the bottom line. Is the bottom line. And we got too many people we need to. Well, and Shay, we'll see if that happens. They may end up working, because the thing about Sean Lee, the value for Sean Lee goes beyond just the play on the field. The value of Sean Lee is he knows more than a lot of the coaches out there. And I believe part of the development of Van Der Esch was because of having a Sean Lee there whispering in his ear. In the same way that I believe Joe Looney was better because you had Travis Frederick there whispering in his ear in real time, telling him, hey, this is what's going on, and helping him with the calls. And that's another one of those reasons why I believe having an Earl Thomas here will help mentor the younger guys. We are still thin. I'm sorry, guys. We got Kevon Frazier, we got Xavier Woods, and we got Jeff Heath, okay? They're not bad guys, but you got to look at how can I upgrade the position? What can I get the biggest bang for the buck? And you got a guy who's motivated, who wants to come home, who wants to go ahead and play, knows he's towards the end of his career, and wants to get a ring. You put that guy and start teaching Xavier Woods to be his replacement, a guy who knows Chris Richard's system, who can therefore be like a coach on the field. I think it's a match made in heaven. I mean, Ware, not Lawrence. I said DeMarcus Ware. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm getting old and I've been hitting the head a few times. I always make mistakes. But I was talking about DeMarcus Ware years ago when they let him go and he went to Denver. Still got 20 sacks and ended up getting a Super Bowl ring. But interestingly enough, here's what's interesting there. When they let go of DeMarcus Lawrence, we also had Jason Hatcher, who had 11 sacks as well. We let go of those two guys after coming off of having the worst defense in the NFL. We had a grand total of 32nd in defense. And as they put it, we couldn't stop a high school team. We let go DeMarcus Ware, Jason Hatcher, and then Sean Lee messed up his knee first play in practice in the OTAs. So you lost 3 of your big guys on offense, and they went from 32nd to 19th. So, congratulations, Victor. I'm glad you got into the Carpenters Union, man. Good job. So, you can look at sometimes you hold on to guys because you're remembering what they did years ago. And sometimes guys just don't have it. I mean, Dez Bryant had been slowing down for 3 years. But in our mind, we were still thinking about Dez Bryant, throwing up the X and stuff. And guys, unfortunately, get gold. Well, thank you, Eric. I appreciate the fact that you love the man cave here. So here's what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to go ahead and try and take in a few calls, and we'll see if that's going to work out tonight or not. Eric, I will check my email then tonight, later on. Forgive me, I get a lot of stuff going on, and sometimes I end up forgetting to get back and stuff. Robert Apakian, I got to get back with you. I know you sent me a couple of emails. Things have been a little bit hectic around here at the man cave and stuff, so forgive me, and eventually I will get back to everybody on that stuff. Had something else up here. Boom, boom. Forgive me for 1 second. Okay. Am I friends with Tom Downey? I might be and just don't know who that is. You love my shirt? I appreciate that. This is actually my wife designed this shirt for Dak Prescott. It's the power of four and spread the mojo. And I've actually got, here's what's really, really cool. I always say to you guys that this doesn't work without you guys. My email is actually cowboysmark94@gmail.com. So cowboysmark@gmail 94, like Charles Haley or me, at gmail.com. Somebody call her, I will. The AAF, man, I tell you what, Michael Anthony has all the lowdown and stuff on that. He is watching it fully. Did you guys see that play to,
Escobar?
Yeah. Why the hell couldn't Gavin Escobar catch anything when he worked here?
It's a different league.
Gavin Escobar seems like he's catching every damn thing over there. But it was amazing because the quarterback, was it Hackenberg? I'm trying to remember. I think it might have been.
Hackenberg plays for the Express.
Okay. I'm trying to remember which quarterback it was.
I don't know.
Okay. Man, I'm sorry. Listen.
You have to look at it this way, too. A lot of people that play in the AAF are lesser talented than what's in the NFL, too. You have to look at it that way, too.
Hello, David. You're on the Joe Booth Sports Talk Show.
Hello. I was just wondering what you thought about us going to get Tyler Eifert, free agent.
It wouldn't be a bad pickup. The question is how much money is it going to cost, and what is it going to cost for us to keep our free agents that we have?
Right, I understand that. And from a talent point of view, the way I look at it, Tyler Eifert, he's definitely a number one.
Yeah.
When healthy.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now, it's a big question if it's healthy. And we've taken a few gambles on some guys that have some injuries and stuff, too. He could fit in, without a doubt. The question is what... Go ahead.
Do you think Dalton Schultz could learn quite a bit from him?
Dalton definitely good. Now, Dalton came on pretty well towards the end of the season, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing how well he does after he gets some more time and gets another off season on there. But between the two of them, that might not be a bad match. We truly do need a lot more play from the tight end position because the tight end has really become almost like your number one wide receiver, and that's been kind of lacking. Unfortunately, Jason Witten was always sure-handed, but he wasn't really getting the separation anymore. He was always good for 7-8 yards, but you weren't going to see him downfield much. This year, with the tight end by committee, it didn't seem like it really worked too well, but you started seeing Dalton Schultz play a lot more. And I think Goff Swam is definitely going to be a cap casualty as well. I don't think he's going to be coming back. So, yeah, it's going to end up being Dalton Schultz unless Rico happens to take another step now that he's out of the doghouse.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd love to see Rico do something. But I just don't think it's going to happen with the Cowboys.
Well,
not looking at the way we do players.
Well, here's the interesting thing, too, and this is where I wonder about Cole Beasley, too, now. Because Cole Beasley truly wanted to get the hell out of Dodge when Scott Linehan was there. But it seems like once Scott Linehan got fired that all of a sudden everybody kind of sighed in relief. And I think he's looking at it back now that maybe this might not be a bad situation to come back and be back with the Cowboys. And I think a guy like Rico Gathers didn't get the opportunity either because he was always in Scott Linehan's doghouse. They threw to him a couple of times, but it wasn't enough to ever get him into a rhythm. And I believe I think they screwed him up.
Agreed.
Excuse me, because when he was playing his rookie year before he had the concussion, he was a lot thinner and he was a lot, he almost ran and it looked like a giraffe running. He was very, very smooth and very, very fluid. Usually you have guys that are that tall, they look kind of lanky, and when they run down the field, they look awkward. Their whole thing was, we need you to block, okay? So you got to put on weight and be able to block. And, of course, you heard, he's going to get somebody killed, so he's a liability, so we can't play him, this, that, and the other. And once he put that weight on, he never seemed like he was the same guy that he was the year before. And the opportunities he got was...
That about Ezekiel Elliott this week?
I'm sorry?
Did you notice that about Ezekiel Elliott this year? Looked like he put on quite a bit of weight, looked a little slower and not as explosive.
Yeah, but you know what? As much as they ran him up the middle, he kind of needed a little bit more of that weight to kind of take the punishment on it. And I'm actually hoping that they kind of change philosophy a little bit more. I liked it when he was a little bit leaner, and I would like to see him used more in space, more in the passing routes and stuff like that, as opposed to just between the tackles, because I'm worried that we're going to end up paying him a big chunk of money, and he's going to hit that running back wall and just never be the same, because you cannot keep pounding over and over and over again. It's kind of like what we did to DeMarco Murray in 14. They figured we're not going to re-sign him, so we're just going to keep running him and running him and running him. And he was still good, but he was never really the same as he was before. All right?
I agree with that 100%.
All right, man. I appreciate the call, man. Thank you very much. This is kind of cool. I got to be honest with you. This, for me, is actually seeing how this has actually evolved and grown and everything else, to be able to take in phone calls from you guys, to kind of work with the different cameras and upgrade the software and stuff. It's really, really kind of cool. And we're going to be doing a whole lot of other things, especially as the season gets here. I'm going to be working with Cowboys Experience, and we're going to be doing a couple of game trips, going to be doing a bunch of big tailgates and stuff, so it's going to be a ball. Let me get some of the comments in here. Does Big Ben deserve blame for well, Victor, if you listen to Antonio Brown, you would definitely say he is. Big Ben is Big Ben. AB is a diva wide receiver. So I'm just glad it's not my Cowboys. How about that? Any thoughts on Zeke holding out? I don't think Zeke's going to hold out. But we'll have to wait and see on that. I mean, that's where people have kind of speculated. And this is where I tell you, it's silly season. You haven't heard Zeke say anything about his contract or himself holding out. That's where somebody has gone through and said, I heard that Zeke might hold out, and then it just kind of gets passed around, and you hear it enough times, then you start believing it. You're not causing trouble, okay? I think if Travis was playing in that playoff game, Travis Frederick would have made a difference, because I tell you what, Joe Looney literally got picked up by Ndamukong Suh and thrown to the ground there a couple of times. It is what it is. You play with the guys that you got, and unfortunately we didn't have Travis Frederick. And somebody had actually asked earlier, I forgot about it when you just reminded me of the question, was saying that we need to go ahead and draft offensive line. I actually believe that we're going to be okay on offensive line if, in fact, Travis Frederick's coming back. You are adding basically a Pro Bowler back into the lineup if he is healthy. And what you also got is now you got a Joe Looney who's got a year of experience. He can play guard if you need to. You've also got Zach Martin, who played on one leg, but still rated out as one of the best guards in football. He'll get that knee taken care of. He'll be back. Tyron Smith, you still kind of dealing with little nagging injuries and stuff. You don't know how much more he's going to be able to, or how much time he's going to miss and stuff. But he's still, when he plays, one of the best in the football. Now, here's where it's going to get to be kind of interesting, because this is a tough call for the Cowboys. If you believe Travis Frederick is going to be back to speed, if you know Zach Martin's going to be okay, if you know Tyron Smith is going to be okay, you got Connor Williams that played tackle. You got an offseason to go ahead and feed the hell out of him, and you can possibly. Thank you very much, Robert Apakian, and I'll get back to you on that email. You could technically take Connor Williams to tackle, and you can either have Xavier Salafalo or Joe Looney at guard. And if you do that, and again, I love Lyle Collins. I think Lyle Collins should be a guard instead of a tackle. But again, it goes back to dollars and cents. And when we look at Lyle Collins, you see that number right there? $8.5 million. And I think that's one of the discussions that's going on. The Cowboys may be saying, okay, that's the 7th highest right tackle in the NFL. I love Lyle Collins. Met Lyle Collins. Lyle Collins got a smile that will light up a room, gives back to the community and everything else. Great guy. But you only have that $190 million to go around. So the question is, are you better off spending that $8.5 million on a Lyle Collins, or are you better off spending it on somebody else on there? Again, these are the hard decisions that you have to make. Are you better off taking some of that money and using it to help keep, as well as Alan Hearns and Terrance Williams money? Are you better using some of that money, getting an Earl Thomas and bringing back a Cole Beasley? Thomas Garrett, thank you very much for the super chat. So that's where you start looking at these games, and you don't know. And there's going to be always is some guys that you say, man, I can't believe we cut that guy. Des Bryant was it last year. To me, Jackie, I think you got to pay Zeke Elliott. Zeke has done everything on the field that you could ever ask him for. The fact that he still leads the NFL over the last 3 years in rushing and missed 6 games out of no fault of his own tells you a hell of a lot about his abilities. Yeah, right, Joseph. And that's the salary right there, 9.925. If he ends up being a cap casualty, you end up having 1.4. That's a dead money, and you got $8.5 million. That's saving. Vosh wants to put Lyle off the bridge. Okay. Sign Earl Thomas, sign D-Law, and sign Beasley and Zeke, and cut T. Will. Well, T. Will is already gone, so you already got the first part of that, Corey, done. Well, okay, now, Mr. Noodle. Now, see, this is what I try and also tell you guys that a lot of people don't understand, because they're thinking that if we go ahead and pay Amari Cooper, that $14 million is going to be a bigger hit this year. And that's not necessarily the case. Whoa. Stephanie, thank you very much for that super chat. Damn! Appreciate that. Appreciate all those super chats from everybody.
Call from.
This could be a scary one.
Press 1.
You're on the Jobu Sports Report. Where are you calling from? Hello? Okay. That was a restricted one. That was kind of a scary one. I was ready to hit the dump button if I had to. We're going to pay Dak, folks, and that's in your, yeah. People are losing, Miss Jackie, people are losing their mind about what Dak Prescott may or may not make. It is unbelievable. Completely off target. What is my favorite movie? I'd actually have to say probably Glory. Matthew Broderick, you've got Denzel Washington in that movie. I mean, that movie was like literally off the chain. Great Civil War movie. How much cash will we save if we cut Jason Garrett? I don't know how much cash we save, but we definitely save a few headaches, man, and probably save some liquor. Oh, there's my, okay, hey, guys. This isn't a Jason Garrett clap right here. This is a clap for Joseph Hardy. Joseph, I told you guys before, there is, I don't know if I can get it in the camera over here. Over there, one of my prized possessions over here, a movie prop gun from Joseph Hardley. Joseph actually helped me out last year when we were trying to raise funds to do our tailgate. Joseph is sending me a box full of Cowboys memorabilia. And you're on the Jobu Sports Report. Who am I talking with, and where are you calling from?
My name is Corey, and I'm calling from Hagerstown, Maryland.
How you doing, Corey?
I'm good, man. I've been a lifelong Cowboys fan since 1983.
All right, man. So you've been there through the hard times and the good times then, too.
Yes, I have, sir, and I'm a big fan of yours.
I appreciate that. You're just up the road from me there.
Boo. Yeah, and I'm dealing with all these stinking Redskins fans around here.
You know what? They're pretty quiet right now.
And the Giants fans at work and everybody else.
The Redskin fans have been actually really missing. In fact, I was messing with on Twitter, one of the Redskin blog sites and stuff, because they were even saying it's kind of quiet. Yeah, they're kind of out hiding right now because they literally don't have a quarterback on the roster and don't have money to really pay one. So it's going to be interesting what they do. So what can we do for you tonight?
And well, I just want to tell you too, on top of that, Mark, that I'm a big Dak Prescott fan. I love that man, and I hope we sign him for a long-term deal. And he is a winner, and I don't care what nobody else says about him. But that's my boy.
Well, we all know he's mine too. What we've been able to accomplish with him, and I mean, the thing is, people always seem to think that it's the quarterback is the be-all and everything else. You still have to have people to throw to. You still got to have people to block and everything else. It is really a team sport, but you have to have a guy who not only can play, that he's also a guy that can lead and that people will follow. And he's got that part down pat. If he can kind of work on the mechanics a little bit more, I can't see why he doesn't become an elite quarterback. All right.
I got 2 questions for you, Mark.
Okay.
One is, like I said on your show tonight, I'm watching because I was watching. What?
Yeah.
Is O-line. I love what we had in 2016, and I like the fact that we're getting younger on the offensive line and D-line, and we're actually starting to build something there. But my question is, I love Tyrone Smith, but he is getting up there in age.
Yeah.
I want to see him and still on the team, but watching him last year and then watching that game when we played Atlanta, Dak getting clobbered, and I'm like, I don't want to see what happened with Romo happen with Dak.
True.
And I want to be able, as a fan, just like you and everybody else, I want to see him upright. And if you have an offensive line, no matter what team you are, you have it makes everything better. It makes the league better. It makes Dak better. It makes the passing game better.
Without a doubt. Better. Yeah, without a doubt. Now, here, I will say this much. Even though Tyron Smith is not as good as he used to be, they do pay the guys on the other side, and he is facing some elite pass rushers. I feel good at least that we actually have a guy like Cam Fleming that's in the fold and stuff that got at least some time. He's not Tyron Smith by any stretch of imagination, but we're not at least if Tyron Smith, and we know we're at the point where Tyron's going to miss a couple of games, where we're not going to a Chaz Green. But I feel overall.
I hate Chaz Green.
Yeah, but here's where I feel good at least about the offensive line going to next year. Zach Martin's going to get back to even better form once he gets that knee taken care of. You've got Travis Frederick coming back. That's adding a Pro Bowler right there. You got Connor Williams, who won't be a rookie any longer. Gets a chance to really get into the system, get back into the groove as well. And you've got other guys that got experience between Cam Fleming, in for Tyron Smith, as well as Xavier Salafalo playing guard. So at least now you have some experienced depth on the team as well. And I think that they'll be okay. I also believe if we can do better with the tight end, because what you'll notice is the Dallas Cowboys got better as Blake Jarwin started playing better at tight end. And so when he had Amari Cooper, Dak was able to get the ball down the field a little bit quicker and recognize things. And if we can get the tight end to become a security blanket, then that's going to help Dak to go ahead and say, okay, I'm getting blitzed. Let me dump it off to the tight end and know he's going to catch it. And we're going to get something positive on it instead of always looking. Because to me, it always felt like when Dak was holding on the ball too long, he was looking for that security blanket that was not there. So I personally think that offensive line will be okay without taking our second-round pick and drafting a guy right then and there. I would rather go ahead and
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying just we should at like maybe like the 5th or 6th, 7th round this year or next year. Just
definitely
keep adding more pieces as far as it goes.
And also, too, you're going to be doing that bargain basement shopping, too, in free agency. And sometimes you end up finding guys that, you have no clue of, and all of a sudden they're, become a starter. Take a look at, say, like Antoine Woods, who was 4th on the depth chart, who played valuable minutes on the defensive line. So they're going to be scouring and looking everywhere, covering every rock to try and get better. All right? Thank you very much.
My other question is,
okay.
I just got one more quick one.
All right. Hang on one quick second.
Doing for the,
Eric Freeman, thank you very much for the super chat. I'm sorry, Chris Richard?
I love what he's doing on the defense, and I hope we do get Earl, and I hope we just keep getting young. And just like you said on a couple of the shows I've watched, is I hope we get that big boy in the middle like Jay Ratliff was for D-Ware.
Oh, that is the piece that's missing so much.
But I hope we get somebody, man.
All right, man. All right, Corey, thank you very much, man. I'm going to try and get a couple more shots.
Cowboys.
All right. That's the thing that I have been screaming for years, and everybody gets tired, I'm sure, of hearing me. I know it's because I played nose guard, that I always want to be particular to the big guys in the middle. But I swear, I want a big-ass fire hydrant in the middle.
Call from
Andrew.
How you doing, Andrew? Where are you calling from?
Longview, Texas.
Longview, Texas, man. What can we do for you tonight, man?
Man, listen, I've been watching your show for the longest, and you be on point. And I used to listen to other Dallas Cowboys talk, but it's not interesting as yours. But you get down to the point. You don't be politicking. You just tell the street where it is.
That may be why I never get any calls from the Cowboys organization.
Because you read through the BS. You read like when Jerry Young says stuff, you say what he really said.
Yeah.
You can see through the politics of the guy. You still kind of like the fan. You understand how the fan now.
Right.
That ain't what's going on. That's what's going on. So you ever the point times out so people need to listen to you. So like a lot of people who are Cowboy fans like the stuff that you be showing, like with Stephen A. Smith fans. I'm just like pointed out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, here entertainer. He was. You can't talk about the owner like Dallas Cowboys. Stephen A. Smith did it, smile, shake their hand like you their buddy.
Right.
Something don't look right about that. He be.
I could, but see that's Stephen. But he realized. Listen, I ain't mad at him. He realizes what works to get paid. If it's hating Cowboys, I mean, it's a win-win because you're gonna get two fans: people that hate the Cowboys and people that love the Cowboys. Both of them are gonna be watching, and as long as they're watching, there's no such thing as negative publicity. So I ain't mad at him. So he realizes there's Jerry Jones. Let me hug up and rub some of that money off on me and stuff, man. But to me, that's where I've been really lucky and blessed to have been like in the right place at the right time, to be standing right there with that jackass boss up and catching.
Listen, it's awesome because listen, man. When I saw the 903, you must be East Texas area or something. But 903 East Texas area. I don't know, but. And it's how East Texas don't got no big cities, but we got a lot of diehard football fans in East Texas. More than anybody thinks. We be no big cities, but they fall like religion down here.
Right. Oh, I know.
You know what I'm saying? We'll fight behind a little league football game or a high school football game.
The dog running around carrying the football, you'll watch it down there, I'm sure.
So, well, my thing is, this is my opinion. I was going to ask you, Mr. Jabu, is that...
What's that?
To me, I think they let Terrance Williams go because I really think when they got David Smith, I think that's his replacement.
Yeah.
And David Smith, I think if he stay healthy, I follow him on Instagram. If he stay healthy, just the one whole season, I think he got a good chance of making the team. Dallas don't do anything stupid. But Dallas got a lot of talent. I just think they don't know how to use their talent. I never think that Dallas was a sorry team. I always think it's a play call. Most of the time it's a play call.
Well, see, and you bring up a great point with that because, see, the Dallas Cowboys with Jason Garrett has always said, the way we do things around here. But sometimes you got to look at a guy and say, you know what, that doesn't really do exactly what I want to do, but this guy does something really special over here. Let me go ahead and figure out what I can do with them. See, that's the thing about a New England, and I hate to use New England as an example, but a team that constantly wins. They don't have superstars. I mean, they got Gronk and they got, Tom Brady, but they got guys that play roles, and they use that whole roster. The guy who's 30th on the roster is getting playing time, too. He may only have a special package for 5 or 6 plays, but they're going to find some ways to use that guy to get an advantage. And see, that's where we mess up with like a Rico Gathers. I'm sorry. A guy that's that tall with the hands that he had, you can't tell me you can't find some kind of a mismatch with a short cornerback?
He's a beast. Every time they play, I don't care if you don't block. You don't need to block.
Right.
Every time they put him in the game, a few plays on, who cares about blocking? He only got to jump to catch the ball.
That's right.
Guaranteed.
And that's...
He'll get you a first down so you can throw it up and catch it.
Yeah.
Who cares about blocking?
And
you got to let the running back block. That's what's been blocking. Let the halfback block. We got fullback for us. It's job to block.
Right.
The main job of football fullback is to block. To get short yardage. That's it. It's not really tight as supposed to be no blocking. They just something new they did. So they get rid of fullback roles. You used to fullback role back in the day. You hardly got fullbacks in the NFL anymore.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm telling the truth.
Yeah. Hopefully, now, again, we got Kellen Moore, who's going to be our offensive coordinator.
Right.
And, of course, everybody's looking at that saying, man, we're screwed up. He didn't do jack with Dak Prescott, Although, right. I'm going to say this much. When you look at where we started the season with Dak and how he ended last year, his trajectory did go up. Once we got Amari Cooper, once we ended up getting rid of Paul Alexander, we started opening up things more. We know Jason Garrett was more involved in the play calling, especially at that Giant game. And you got a taste, just a little taste, of maybe changing some things up and opening it up. And maybe that's where we'll see with Kellen Moore that maybe he will start opening up things more and doing things a little different than that old guard of Scott Linehan. And I still don't understand why we stuck with Scott Linehan for so long, because you looked at his pedigree. I'm sorry, it was the Vikings, it was St. Louis and running them to the ground getting fired, and it was the the Lions. It was like, what are you kidding me?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that helped the defense. This is my opinion. A lot of people didn't realize it. And that's by putting Byron Jones back at corner, like they should have did the first time. That helped. He might not get no interception, but they ain't getting no catches either.
Yeah.
So putting him back in his right element was a smart thing to do, moving him to safety without his element. I ain't understand why they two people out their element.
Right.
And like you said, if they just two people back and they strong, and like you said, you think Wichita be better as the guard. And I do too. Put them back in their element.
Right.
And I think they do their best work because they struggling. It's an area. Like I said, the offense is good. And I think Fred Pryor, that center, I think that's who hurt the team the most because his injury. I think that's why it was hard for Zeke to have those.
Yeah.
He had to cut most of his yards from the outside set up the middle. He had a hard time going up the middle. He had a better time going the outside because he had that center to block that, to put that hole in the middle for him like he used to.
Right.
That's why I think why he struggled up the middle more than he did at the side pass.
All right, my man.
That's my opinion.
I'm going to try and get a couple more calls in here, and I appreciate the support, and thank you for calling. All right, so we got time for a couple more calls real quick before we get ready to get out of here. Well, believe me, David, you couldn't be any more closed-minded than Scott Linehan was. Scott Linehan literally – see, I think the problem with Scott Linehan was, and you could see this in 2015, that the Cowboys believed that they had the right formula. We had a great offensive line. Zeke Elliott was beasting out there. Dak Prescott was under control, and, we're keeping the offense simple. That all we had to do was just basically line up and do the exact same thing, and that's what we did in 2017. And once Zeke was out, once Tyron Smith got hurt, it just didn't work, and they never were able to change anything up.
Call from
Alex Montalonga.
How you doing tonight, Alex? Welcome to the Joe Booth Sports Report.
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm great, man. I'm living the dream here, enjoying hanging out with all you guys.
Awesome. Hey, man, I've been a pretty big fan of yours for a while, and I think just like the other guy said, that I think you're pretty spot on with a lot of stuff that you say there.
Appreciate that.
I got more of a comment than anything. I just think, and yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, sorry, man. I just think, and my concern for next year is if we're not giving a contract extension to Jason Garrett, or we're going to base it off his performance, and let's say he doesn't do well, why are we wasting a year with him, and why not just get rid of him now if we have Chris Richard ready to take over? You know what I mean?
Well, because that's Jerry Jones. Okay, let's make no mistake about it. Jerry Jones loves Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett's dad's been part of the organization for a long, long time, and he will do anything and everything to try and make him succeed. Make no mistake about it, the trade for Amari Cooper was a lifeline to Jason Garrett, and he wants him to succeed. And here's an interesting thing, too. They trust him, they want him to succeed, but we don't want to put any more money behind it. So, knowing Jerry Jones, he's got him paid for one more year, and at least if he fails, well, okay, he's gone. It's not going to cost us any money to let him go. At that point, you let him go now, you got to turn around and start paying another coach. And here's the other thing that I think they're looking at too is the team has been built for this offense the way it is, okay? Our defense, you look at our defensive linemen and stuff, they are quick pass rushing type of offensive linemen. You've got this modern, this road grader offensive lineman, okay, with Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and everything else, and you've got that running back. So it's all built for this offense the way it is right now. And the idea is if you bring in somebody new, they may end up saying, we need to change all this stuff up. So I think they're looking at it and saying, we've been successful this. We just need to get over the hump. And that's where I actually believe the best thing they could do with Jason Garrett was say, your ass is on the line. Because it seems like, here's the thing about it. It seems like every time Jason Garrett, and I said this early this season, whenever Jason Garrett is about to be destroyed and kicked out is when the team turns around. After 3 years of being 8-8, 8-8, 8-8, and he was on the hot seat, they took away the play calling from him. What happens? We got 2014, and we're a no catch away from the championship game. Okay, then after 2015, after that pooch screw where we won one game without Tony Romo, and people were kind of saying, Garrett's on the hot seat, you end up having another great year. And even going into this year, and we looked at midseason, we were talking about who was going to replace him. All of a sudden, the team kind of turned around. So, it just seems like maybe that's the thing with Jason Garrett is, make him stay on the hot seat. So I'm hoping that does a trick for us.
My thing is, I feel like, I just feel like I just don't want it to be another wasted year. And I feel like the common denominator that's always been with the Cowboys, with the exception, obviously, of Bill Parcells and all that, when we had him there, but we had him at the end, basically. Yeah. The common denominator has been coaching. And if you think about it, obviously, when, Dak's rookie season, and I'm a big Dak fan, I can tell you that. I obviously speak to it with my brother all the time because we're both fans. Yeah. The common denominator there was coaching. We had Romo there helping him out. We had Bull Fumble there, too, get out of the knee, B or whatever. But yeah, I think coaching has a lot to do with it. And as you saw, last year, and then obviously this past season with Dak, you did see a little bit of regression there. So that's my other concern is I don't really have all the faith in Kellen Moore to be that guy. And if I feel like if we're going to end up replacing Jason Garrett, and then we're going to have Chris Richard probably fill in, I mean, he's going to end up bringing in his own offensive guys and coaching stuff. At least those are my thoughts. Yeah, and that's possible. I just don't want it to be that wasted year with him.
Now, but I will say this much at least, because when you think about Sean McVay was the offensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins. And didn't anybody think, okay, coming from that pooch screw, that he would end up being in the Super Bowl 2 years later? So there may be something to that. We've got a young guy, he was taught by Scott Linehan. He came here with the lines and stuff like that. Doesn't mean he's not going to be tweaking, and I believe that guy's going to work his ass off to make a name for himself. All right?
All right, man. It was a pleasure, and I was calling you out of Wichita, Kansas, by the way. I kind of have to tell you that, but it's a pleasure talking to you, man, and keep doing your thing.
All right, I appreciate that, man, so much. All right. Joseph, man, I'm sorry. I was trying to click over on it. Some of the callers were kind of going a little long-winded, and time flies by so fast. Let me see if I can get you real quick, Joseph. Joseph Hartley, if you're still there, I'm calling you.
Hello.
Hey, Joseph, Mark Holmes.
Hey, Mark. What's up?
Man, I tried to click over to you, but we had too many calls on the line and stuff there, man. And I wanted to get back to you because, you know, you're one of my biggest supporters and everything else. You are fantastic.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, Mark. I mean, really, of all the emotional up and downs I go with my medical things, being able to watch your show and to be able to focus on that, it does me a world of good. So, trust me, you know, for me to be able to do things for you is payback.
Man, I appreciate it because, you know, we're still on live right now. Like I said, I wanted to catch you. I was telling everybody here that you're actually donating a bunch of memorabilia and stuff to me for gifts to the fans and stuff. So I really, really appreciate it, and I wanted to thank you definitely on air because you've been a great supporter of the channel for so long, and I could not be where I am without you.
Well, I appreciate that. You didn't need to go that far. I mean, you know, I'm glad to be able to help a friend, so that's okay. You know, I hope that whoever does get it enjoys it. But I have lots of stuff.
Okay.
I mean, you know, like blanket material that I've never made a blanket out of, but it's all Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
You know, the brand new slippers, and you know, I mean, just all kinds of things that you wouldn't think of. That I've got, you know, that I've been collecting. Of course, you know, I've been a fan since '67, so I've been collecting for a long time.
Wow, that's as old as me almost. Man, well, I appreciate it so much, Joseph, and I will be talking to you soon, man. I'm going to get ready to get out of here.
All right, buddy, you take care. And thank you so much.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you for everything you do.
Bye-bye.
And I got to tell you, that is one of the coolest things that. You know, when you get fans that are like Joseph and stuff that have done a lot to help out the channel and stuff, I always say this, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, that, you know, this isn't all about me or Joe Boo. It's actually about all of us together that really make this thing what it is, because your support and everything on the channel, just even going through and having to live through the off season, you know, it's hell this time of year where we don't have football, but at least we have each other. So with that being said, we're going to try something a little bit new here. I actually have a end screen here, and let's see if this works, because it is now time for me to turn down the lights here, and I will be back on Friday, and I'll be bringing you guys any news on the Dallas Cowboys as it comes in. Okay, it's not cutting. I guess I almost made it through with everything working. Damn. Works better if I use it right now.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.